Very good morning and welcome to Athavan News. Today, Thursday, 21st of January 2016. Paper highlights read by Edward Udedas Devasagayam Pillai. Now let's focus on today's Daily Mirror. Minister witnesses poaching by Indians. Fisheries Minister Mahinda Amaraveera witnessed first-hand Indian fishermen engaged in illegal fishing in Sri Lankan waters during an inspection tour together with the Sri Lankan Navy on a Dora vessel in Kangesanturai. The minister said that the Indian fishermen used illegal fishing methods of using bottom trawling. Implipitia case. I saw Sumit pushed off building. Wife. My husband was never involved in any sort of crime, but he had a habit of speaking out against injustice irrespective of the status of those responsible for the injustice. Sashika Nishamani Munasinghe, the widow of Sumit Prasanna Munasinghe, who died after a controversial fall from a 3-storied building in Implipitia 2 weeks ago during a clash with the police, said yesterday that she had seen her husband being pushed off the building. All notices should be in all 3 languages. Laws should be strictly implemented against the public institutions which do not display public notices in all 3 languages, the Department of Official Languages yesterday said. GL. Government trying to divert attention. The move to introduce a new constitution was to divert the people's attention so the government could establish a special war crime court and to hunt down armed forces personnel, GL Piris said. Now let's move to today's daily news. Fresh probe into kidney transplant racket. 6 Sri Lankan doctors in 4 private hospitals involved. Racket operated from India. Health Minister suspends granting approval for organ transplant. The Ministry of Health has launched a fresh investigation into the alleged kidney transplant racket operated from India. The Department of Medical Services in the ministry has been instructed to conduct a full investigation on the matter and submit a report. Secretary to the Ministry of Health Anura Jayavikrama told the Daily News yesterday, as a temporary measure, the ministry has also suspended approval for any organ transplant procedures, he said. Any transplant procedures has to obtain prior approval from the Ministry of Health. Nasheed meets British High Commissioner, US Envoy. Maldives former President Mohammad Nasheed met British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka and Maldives James Dowries and US Ambassador to Sri Lanka and Maldives Atul Kashap in Colombo last Tuesday. Nasheed, who is under arrest, was granted permission to travel to the United Kingdom for medical reasons. He arrived in Sri Lanka on Monday night. Nasheed left by a Sri Lankan Airlines flight to London on Tuesday. PM at World Economic Forum 2016. The World Economic Forum 2016 inaugurated at Davos in Switzerland yesterday with the participation of over 2,000 world leaders and economic specialists, including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. It is for the first time in history that a Sri Lankan leader attended the World Economic Forum on a special invitation. Finally, we move to today's Ceylon Today. Ranil gives nod to Port City project. Sri Lanka will continue with the Port City project funded by the Chinese government, said Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday. Speaking at a press conference held in Davos, Switzerland during the World Economic Forum, the Prime Minister said China is one of the largest countries in the world and they are reaching out. Within Sri Lanka alone, there are a large number of projects currently being funded by the Chinese, including the Port City project. He further said the Port City project will become a great location for investment and tourism. Furthermore, the Premier said the Hambantota Harbour project, which too is funded by Chinese, will continue. No political prisoners in Sri Lanka, Ranil. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday said in Davos that there are no political prisoners currently in custody, neither Tamil nor Sinhalese. Fertilizer shortage, President angered. President Maithripala Sirisena yesterday ordered the Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture to meet him forthwith with all circulars which have been issued pertaining to fertilizer in the country. The President's order came in a sequel to a complaint submitted to the President at yesterday's cabinet meeting by ministers Dr. Sarath Amunugama and Sajith Premadasa about farmers in 62 areas in the country being unable to purchase fertilizer stocks. With that, we come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to Athavan News.